Okay, so I got the iPad Air, the LTE version, which is universal and works with all carriers. And this is my unboxing of it. And, it comes in a standard iPad box, which is always elegant. And it's, wrapped in this nice plastic. You peel it off. And, my first impression, I had the iPad Air. I recently gave it away to a family member. And this definitely feels thinner and lighter when you first grab the iPad Air 2. You can see it's definitely a slightly thinner, slightly lighter. And the thing is, you really feel that difference, and people are like, why does it make a difference that it's thinner? And to me, it's always important to be thinner and lighter because it's more mobile. And so here I'm launching the screen. You get the standard Apple logo when you launch, and you have to go through a checklist of, of things to activate it. And, it's, you get the hello screen, and you can see it's a very thin device. I'm going to hold it up sideways. I don't know if you can really appreciate how much thinner it is than the iPad Air, but it is. And here I'm just going to say slide to setup. And I'm just going to pick the United States whenever you activate an iOS device. And I'm going to pick a Wi-Fi that's local. And I'm also going to set it up by backing it up from iTunes. So I like to, some people back up to iCloud. I find that, I have pretty massive files on my iPad, so I like to back it up to iTunes, and then you just connect by lightning cable. And when you do that, iTunes launches where you've backed it up. And to me, it's very quick and seamless. And I remember a couple of years ago when I used to do this, it'd be buggy and, some of the apps wouldn't install correctly. But lately, at least in the last year or so, it's very quick and very seamless. And on the Mac, this is what you see, restoring iPad from backup. It says it'll be about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. It took at least half an hour because I had so many files. You can see how thin the iPad Air is. I have it right next to the iPhone 6, and to the left of that is the iPhone 5. And, it looks as thin as the iPhone 6 and thinner than the iPhone 5. So it's really a pretty impressive device. The screen, I'll put on the screen later, but it's just gorgeous screen. And, so you can see sort of the scale of it compared to the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 5. It's really compact. Okay, so the iPad Air 2 is really light. Look, I'm holding it here, and it just feels it's a little thinner by a few millimeters and a little bit lighter than the iPad Air, but you feel the difference. And it's always been my position that ultimately we're going to get a tablet that's going to get closer and closer to the thinness of paper, and Apple is striving to do that, and it's really amazing how light this is. The other thing is the processor is much faster, and it just feels really zippy, like using it. There I was sort of going through websites, and even that was quick. Look, it's just very thin, very light. I'm holding it there, and I just think this is Apple's going to keep iterating and making it more powerful, lighter, and thinner. And, people are like, whoa, do you really need it to be that thin? Do you really need it to be that light? And the thing is, when it's really thin and really light, you end up using it more. It becomes more handy because it's almost like a piece of paper. You can hold it. I don't know if people recall when they released the iPad 3, it was heavier than the iPad 2, and even though it had a Retina screen, it bummed me out. Now here I'm running a Geekbench test to show you the speed, and it'll take a few seconds to run. But anyways, my point is with the Retina iPad, the first one, yeah, it was great. It was Retina, but the fact that it got thicker and heavier drove me crazy because the thing I liked about the iPad was its mobility. And now Apple, with the last year's upgrade to the iPad Air, that was really thin, and now we're getting thinner and lighter. Now look at the score, 4489 in multi-core. That, on my blog, I pointed out, is as powerful as a 2011 MacBook Air. So I have a 2011 MacBook Air, and that is just as powerful. So it's very impressive, and again, it's pretty light. So I really think it's something you should get. And if you look on Apple's website, they point out it's 18% thinner, it's 6.1 millimeters thinner, and 0.96 pounds in weight. Oh no, actually it's 6.1 millimeters in thickness. So bottom line is that I would definitely consider upgrading to an iPad Air 2 if you're a heavy user of the iPad. It's worth it. What I would do is just sell your old one or give it to a family member and pay the difference, because it's definitely worth the upgrade.